Okay, hopefully, fingers crossed, we should be live again. So, apologies for that. We have a little bit of a dodgy internet connection going on. So please do bear with us. I know you guys have tuned in especially to see the demonstration today, so I can only apologise. I don't know what I'm going to do if it goes down again. But fingers crossed, hopefully it will keep live demonstrating. So what we're going to do is we're going to hop straight into the demonstration and try and get that guy through for you guys. If you do have any comments as we go, please do type them up and we will answer as we go. So this is part 2. We started the original demonstration with Twisted Easel card, part of the Summer Radiance die collection that launched this morning on our own website, carnationcrafts.co.uk. So let's have a look. Let's see if we can get this working. So hopefully we have got a top-down view of the desk where you can see us working for this demonstration. So Twisted Easel card. We have all of the die sets within here to build and allow us to create beautiful cards. We got up to the point of taking the largest size die, which is this one, which creates our base. So all we're going to do is take our base, run it through our die cutting machine with, say, 350 perfect smooth cardstock to create our card shape. Truly, it is as easy as that, okay? Once you've cut, you will end up with a shape that looks a little bit like this. So I've got lots of comments coming in. Thank you all so much for bearing with us. Alison's here, Ian's here, Pauline's here. Yeah, lots of people saying it is working. So fingers crossed it will continue working. Unfortunately, it's one of those things with gremlins. You know how it is. Okay, so card base. When it comes to Carnation card bases, these will cut and also score at the same time for you. So you see you've got your edge or score cut with your lovely sort of scalloped edge there. And then your score lines as well. One for the hinge of the card and one for the hinge mechanism that makes your easel work, okay? What you can do is run a ball tool over these little score lines just to make them more precise. And once we fold, you can already see how this twist easel is beginning to work. There we go. So we've got everything in place ready to go. So what we want to do is then begin decorating. And once again, within the pack of dies, you do have all of your mats and layers and your filigree elements to help you create really detailed bases. Now for this demonstration, what I'm going to be working with is the perfect papers, in a blue colourway. So we've got this lovely indigo blue into then this lovely sort of rich kind of almost like a violet blue here as well. And these are sized exactly to match in with the designs on your card base. So first things first, let's decorate that top layer. So here we have the 2 mats and layers, indigo and then into the violet there, to line up with our die cuts. All you need to do is just toggle that until you find it slips into place. You have these 2 little bumps followed by a larger bump, 2 little bumps and then a long bump, just so you can then get that into the right place. We're going to be sticking this down onto our card base using what you'll see underneath here, which is red liner tape. Now red liner tape is a nice secure tape, so if we're doing fixtures and fittings, if we're sending our card through the post, if you're working with mechanisms, the best tape to use is your red liner tape because it's nice and strong. So we stick one side down first and then we remove the other carrier sheets so we can get everything nice and lined up. It just means there's no sort of fingers and thumbs in the way. But please notice we're only sticking below the score line. We're not sticking anything up here. It's just below the score line. What that means, when we come to open the card, on that twist easel action, you get that pop-up. You see how that is popping open there. Absolutely perfect. Now, filigree layer. Just to decorate even further, this time around I'm using finger lift tape on the back, and that just gives us a nice flat adhesion between the layers. And once again, you'll see you've got these sort of pointy bobbles and then these long undulating rounds here. And once again, these just nestle into those mats and layers you've already got stuck down. The nice thing about Carnation is the mats and layers are a nice slim design as well. So it gives you a really, really pretty sort of nice slimline design for your mats and layers there. Now the cardstock I'm working on for the white card that you see is actually our Perfect Blush in blue. So Perfect Blush is a range of white card that has a hint of a tint, okay? In this case, I've chosen the blue because then it works with the blue background papers I have going on as well. Carla says, love the twist, love the easel and the twist easel. Actually, love anything that makes life easier. That is the ideal thing, isn't it? Instead of having to score or think about dimensions or having to work out cuts and folds and things like that, this die set does it all for you. And you can see having those beautiful embellishments on there really does transform your card base into something very special. Maxine says, can you tell me what vignette you are using for the crescent, please? Yes, absolutely. We will get to that in just a moment. Stay tuned, Maxine, for that one. To the inside, because we're creating an easel, we need some way of keeping that top open and the action live as well. So we've taken the half little crescent, again, one of the dies within the Twisted Easel die set, and we've cut it in the same way, the same fashion as your indigo, violet, and into the white coloured cardstock there. By having die sets where you keep repeating the process, so repeating the colours, repeating the designs, it really gives a lovely cohesion between the design to the front of the card and also the design to the inside. So again, we're just twisting that round until we find that nestles into the edge of the card base. And this one we have lined up using 2 layers of foam tape, okay? So that means this particular layer is lifted from the base of the card. So when we open the top of the Twisted Easel, you get that lovely sort of stopper effect. You've got something here, a little shelf here, whereby the front of that card can catch and stay open. So it's going to look fantastic on the mantelpieces of your friends you're sending this to. Now, a little tip, whenever you're working with a Twisted Easel, have it facing towards you in the direction that you're building it, okay? We're going to be working with glue and things like that, which means we've got a little bit of wiggle time, but just having it in the right direction means when we start lining things up, for example, a little jug on the front of the card, it makes sure we've got areas there which are then lined properly, okay? So we're going to wrap that back round and then just twist it, because I know that point is going to be the central point for the back of the design. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. To this, we're going to add in another layer. So this is the center of the Twisted Easel die set. Again, more mats and layers. We don't just leave you with a few. We have gone all out and created several. And this time around, what I'm going to do, I'm just turning it slightly. So here you've got sort of a pointy bit, if you like. I'm going to just twist it. So the pointy bits then line up with the curved bits. So you've got sort of just a point of difference between the outside and the inside of the filigree there. Again, I'm using finger lift tape just to stick that down into place, like so. And that way you get that point of difference between the design there as well. To the front of the card, we're going to start building a little story. We're going to start building a scene. And at this point, I always like to stop. So I've created my backgrounds, I've created my filigrees, I've created my mats and layers. Now what I want to do is build that story into the card design. So I've selected a few different die cuts from the Summer Radiance collection. As we've mentioned, it launched this morning on our website, so it is available right now. And when you have a look, you'll see there's different frames available, and there's a few sort of different die sets available too, and all of which can be used all together to create pretty little scenes. So this little piece, this crescent of florals here that Maxine was asking about, is actually one of the frames. This is the begonia blooms, and normally when it cuts, you have a whole beautiful sunburst effect, sort of an Art Deco inspired effect there. But obviously, being Carnation, we don't just stop there. What you can then do is snip into it to give you just the crescent, which will sit beautifully nestled along one edge of your Twisted Easel. Perhaps we want to introduce some other florals. These are 2 little daisies from the Daisy Ray, another one of the frames included within the Summer Radiance die collection as well. And these might sit just here. Might just have 1, might have 2, but again, it's about building up. It's up to you how you create these little stories. Around the edge, included within the Twisted Easel card shape are flowers and leaves, which are great for adding in just extras, little embellishments, little motifs and things like that in the various sizes. And perhaps we want to then embellish that further with leaves and things as well. To the centre, I'm going to take this one. This is one of the beautiful die sets from Summer Radiance, and it features this beautiful cut crystal glassware jug here filled full of lemonade on a hot summer's afternoon. And of course, you've got your 2 little glasses there as well. This type of thing is going to look fantastic, just nestled behind the florals like so. So you see how you're building that scene, you're building that idea around the design like so. We do have our sentiment to finish, and we do have a few butterflies from Butterfly Cascade also matching in with the colourways of that vignette to design and use too. So before I stick anything, I always like to have my design in mind. You can take a photo of it at this stage as well, should you wish to, something to refer back to perhaps. And once you're happy, we can start building that design. So let's start with that little jug. Let's just move these flowers off so we can start working with them. And that jug, rather than sticking down flat, as you're going to see me do with every single one of the die cuts, we're going to give it a little bit of shape. We're going to give it a little bit of a volume to give it a more realistic look. Now, at this stage, I'm just wondering if we've got any questions coming in. I can't see any questions, just lots of people saying, you're back, which is quite handy. I like the fact that we're back and live. As I say, we are working on a new system, so it is internet dependent, and I did go through, we're having, obviously we've just moved, so there's lots and lots of work going on in the house at the minute, and my internet was not in its normal place, which meant I don't think it was getting through the walls properly into my studio. So hopefully you guys are still with me and you can hear and see everything okay. As we go forward with these different Facebook Lives and things like that, we're in the very lucky position where we can bring you more and more, so we make improvements as we go as well. So what I'm doing here is I've just taken a ball tool and I'm just going over areas of that design to really fill out the look. So we're giving it a more curved and a more pronounced finish. So it looks like this glass is actually curved around, which is fabulous. Just going to curve that whole glass jug out like so. And here you see we've got these little daisies just nestled around. What you can do is then take your ball tool and just squidge the middle, technical term there guys, squidge the middle of your floral, and then it lifts those petals up and around as well, okay? So again, you're giving even more shape, even more dimension, and actually it gives those die cuts a much more lifelike look as well. We're gonna stick our jug to the front of our card, but again, I'm just gonna make sure I've got my die cut round the right way, making sure everything is then lined up properly. And I'm going to use, as we mentioned, our Pin Flare glue gel. So this is a 3-dimensional glue gel. It's got a nice clear finish to it, and of course when we're using glue gels and things like that, it creates lift and dimension, but also means we have a little bit of wiggle room should we stick anything in the wrong place to adjust afterwards. You'll notice I concentrated the glue gel towards the centre of the design there, which meant it lifts the centre and just protects that curve that we've created on our jug. Final little check, like so, and you can see you've then got the jug all lined up and straight in alignment to the bottom of the design there as well, okay? So that means, you know, do choose something where you can have it as a central point, as a referring back to, and it just means you can go through and then add in more and more details. Here, we're going to go in with that crescent, and again, I'm concentrating that glue gel just in areas where we are going to have that sticking to the base layer. Now what you'll see, Nick, head of a design, always thinks about his crafters when we are going through and creating looks. You've got plenty of space there to add either foam pads or glue gel should you wish to. Let's just pop our beautiful crescent down to one side and have that jug nestling through, and being sure not to overlap just on this underside here, but we don't mind if it does overlap on the top there as well. Viv says, just cutting out my new collection whilst waiting. Love the Grand Reception dies. Oh yeah, Grand Reception from Vernal Blooms that were launched just, I think last week, the week before. Really pretty design. And again, if you do want to watch a Facebook Live back on that one, we did do one on Friday? I'm going to say Friday. I think it was Friday. But we are trying to bring you more and more lives and tutorials and things like that. Onto our crescent, once again, let's go in and build a few of our little florals. But again, rather than sticking anything flat, let's add in a little bit of shape and a little bit of dimension. So let's just grab a few large ones. Now remember, these florals, as we've said, are part of the Twisted Easel card shape. And again, you will find these downloads, these artworks that we're using, available for you to download for free from carnationcrafts.co.uk. So again, just switching between the sizes of ball there, depending on how prominent I want those little petals to come up, and scoop around, just like so. With the leaves are slightly different. Rather than a ball tool, I do prefer to use a pokey tool with the leaves. And we can run our thumb between the, over the pokey tool and under the vignette there, and just curve. Now the coloured artwork that you see me using is double-sided, so it means we can go to town on the height and dimension, and you're not going to have any white bits showing on your die cuts. These are what we call mirrored vignettes. So the artwork is available to download from carnationcrafts.co.uk. All of our original colourways are free, which is fabulous. And also it means you get this really lovely look. It also means if you don't stick the two sides of the vignettes together, you can use them in any direction at all. Now let's go in with our tweezers and just work out where we want our little florals to sit. I might not put the daisies on here. I might just go all out with these little white flowers actually, because it picks up the colour of the background as well. So let's go little floral there. And another little floral, again, going in with my pin flare. You see I'm using my tweezers just to pick and place these flowers. Reason being, A, it keeps my fingers out of the way. I do tend to get in a little bit of a mess when it comes to pin flare glue gel, or any glue gel actually. And it just means you get a little bit more of a precise placement when it comes to adding them in. Happy to overlay on the different florals as well, because of course in nature, these florals would be overlapping and overlaid. And we're just going to go in and just add to those embellishments. It gives a really lovely, full, fluffy look to the design. Now, of course, being florals, they need their leaves with them as well. So we've got those leaves ready to go. Sharon says, hi, hello, I love all Carnation Craft collections. Wish I could buy them all. Yeah, that's lovely to hear. I mean, it brings such joy being able to create and play with these beautiful die sets as well. And it's lovely to see your inspiration that you share so beautifully in our group as well, which is carnationcrafters.co.uk. There's lots and lots of inspiration over there of people using the dies in different ways, people coming up with their own stories. I know there's a big following of the different mice and things like that for the designs. So it's always worth hopping over to our Facebook group, Carnation Crafters, and checking them out as well. Sheila says, I've been having trouble with the internet this morning, just got on and confused. Was the Twist Easel set die set supposed to be in the Summer Radiance collection? No, Sheila, the Twisted Easels die set that we're working on at the moment launched alongside the Summer Radiance die collection. So Summer Radiance has all your sort of floral frames. And then you have the Twisted Easel. It has launched today alongside the Summer Radiance, but it is a separate die set. Furthermore, what we can do is add in even more embellishments. So here we have our beautiful butterflies, all colour matched to work with your florals there as well. And these are gorgeous. These are from the Butterfly Cascade, again, part of the Summer Radiance collection. And again, let's just go in, perhaps with our ball tool, perhaps with our pokey tool, and lift those wings. As we've said, it's much better to use die cuts in their entirety. And because you've got those mirrored vignettes, as we've said, you've got the reverse coloured as well, you can have fun in creating very, very dimensional pieces whereby you're just lifting those wings and you're not going to see any white bits. You can, of course, when you come to download your designs and your vignettes, you can, of course, go in and check. There are both mirrored, so the ones I'm using with the double-sided look, and there are standard if you prefer just working with the one-sided vignettes as well, which is fabulous. So you see here, I'm just tweaking the wings over, just giving them a little bit of curve, a little bit of an undulation as well, making that very pretty in that design. And again, these little butterflies are just going to be floating around our design. So before I start sticking my butterflies, I'm just going to open my card and just check everything is still aligned and I'm happy with the placement. My jug could do with just standing upright just a squidge. Let's have a look. Jeanette says, hi Hannah, just got back in. I have my twisted easel in front of me. Could you possibly pull the die out so I can see how it twists? I think I've done mine wrong. Yes, absolutely. I haven't got another one cut, but I will show you the reverse once we've finished layering up, Jeanette. Hope that helps you in some way. Little butterflies. Again, with the tweezers, so I'm keeping my fingers away from the pin flare. And again, think about how you're going to utilize that space. Perhaps you want the butterflies flying in towards the design that you're creating just to draw the eye in. Have them fluttering like so. When it comes to placement of items and motifs and embellishments and things like that, there are a couple of rules, there are a couple of ideas to follow. And one of the key ones is something called rule of triangle, rule of three, whereby if you add something to your design, do consider adding it in odd numbers. That is because the eye likes to find the center of a piece, but it also means you creating triangles, okay? So by placing those 3 butterflies, you're guiding the eye into the center of the design. It's subtle, but it is something to be mindful of. So butterflies fluttering around on the front to the inside would be a really good time actually, Jeanette, to show you. So as we've said, when you are constructing, when you are sticking your top part of your easel, you only want to stick on the lower half. If I just do that, you'll see, okay? No sticking on this half of the design. And then you are leaving this side open, so you get that twist easel mechanism. If you stick this side to this side, what you're going to get is a card blank and it won't pop up, okay? You need to only stick to the lower half of the card base, that half there at the bottom, just like so. We will absolutely upload the videos after the live has finished, so you guys can go back and see and refer to that at any time. We're also going to add in our sentiment here. This one that says best wishes. This one is also part of the twisted easel design. And just to sort of tie in those colours, we are working with that indigo from the Perfect Blush. Sorry, indigo from the Perfect Papers and then the blue from the Perfect Blush design. So we've got this beautiful sort of cohesion between colours, and it's quite striking because you've got the lighter colours behind it and then this pop of dark in indigo, which just really highlights this beautiful sentiment, best wishes. Another way to really ensure your card design matches the front and the inside, don't ever forget about the inside of the card, okay? So here we have one of our butterflies, the same as what we've got on the front of the card set here. We just put on, again, a little bit of pin flare glue gel. Why not have a butterfly flying in to make its mark on your best wishes? And you see how instantly you're drawing the outside of the card onto the inside there as well. I mean, we could, if we wanted, add a few florals. I mean, that would look really pretty as well. But I think I'm going to finish with just one more butterfly, perhaps actually landed on the best wishes there as well. So let me just pin flare that one there, my 3-dimensional glue gel. And actually almost like it's forming part of that B for best. Then it features as part of the design there as well. And then we have our finished card. Let me just get rid of the florals and my tape around as well. And I will lift that for camera so you can see. Here is our finished card design featuring that twisted easel card base as we've gone through it and shown you how it works. And then also with the begonia blooms, this crescent shape, a beautiful spray of florals that we've trimmed down. So we cut it away from the frame and we're using it independently from the rest of the die cut. Embellished with a few of the florals from Twisted Easel, just those little white flowers and a few of the leaves as well. And then finished with your butterflies just flying around, giving you a lot of height, giving you a lot of texture, giving you a lot of dimension. I think what is wonderful, consider making a box for this card. Consider making something where it is an event, you know, to receive a card like this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my camera around and hope it all works. Let's see. I think it worked. I think we are still live, which is fantastic. So guys, this is the card just so you can have the different angle on there as well that we have created using that Twisted Easel and the Summer Radiance die collection there. I think you'll agree. It really does give you a lovely summer vibe there. Beautiful, beautiful colours in that. So this is just one of the Facebook Lives that we have planned. Hopefully next time my router won't be moved to random places whereby the signal can't get through to my studio. Fingers crossed that was just a small gremlin that we have to deal with. Do let us know in the comments. I will be around for a little while afterwards if there's anything else you'd like to see for future Facebook Lives. We do have a post running within the Facebook group Carnation Crafters where you can go in and add your requests as well. And now's the ideal time to do it because I've got plenty of time, lots of time to really engage with you guys and enjoy doing these Facebook Lives, which is just great because it's something, you know, everyone loves crafting, don't they? We get to have the most fun with these Facebook Lives. So as I say, all that's left to say is join us over on the Carnation Crafters page. Do type up your comments. Do let us know if there's anything you'd like to see. And of course, continue to share your makes as well because we love seeing them in the group. Take care, guys. And until next time, I'll see you then. Bye.